All right, so should you give your child rewards or treats while you potty train? Ooh, this is a controversial topic. Depending on who you listen to, you might hear different recommendations. So, in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing candidly my own clinical recommendations as well as just my practical experience as a mom of two kids who I've potty trained, right? So, before we dive into this topic, I just want to share that if you are watching around or listening around the time that this episode went live, then I will be teaching a live potty training class where I go through the ins and outs of potty training, including how to prepare your child and you for the journey ahead, step by step, how to get it done. Plenty of troubleshooting help as well as live Q&A so that you get your specific question answered. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I am super excited about the class. I hope that you will join us. You can go to themomspsychologist.com/potty bootcamp for all of the details. And if you are watching on YouTube, the link will be down in the description. Okay, so let's dive into the episode. So first of all, let me back up and talk about positive reinforcement, because essentially what rewards and treats are a form of positive reinforcement. So in the, I don't want to use too much behavioral psychology, psychobabble, but the layman's terms of what a positive reinforcement is anything that is added to the environment or changed or just kind of added to the environment, I'll say, is in the effort to make the behavior, the desired behavior, more likely to happen again. So different examples of positive reinforcement could be a verbal encouragement, which I'll talk about in a second, a hug, a high five, a simple smile, clapping, yay! Those are all forms of positive reinforcement. Also, another form of positive reinforcement is giving your child a treat, a reward like a sticker or a toy, right after they've done a desired behavior. So when we're talking about potty training, this would look like after they go potty, after they go pee or poop, adding something to the environment to encourage them to keep going, right? To make it more likely that that desired behavior happens again. Now, I am a huge fan of verbal encouragement, or AKA praise, which has gotten some slack for. I don't honestly understand all of it. I do understand some of it, but there are proponents that say, you shouldn't praise your child. But I am a huge fan of praising, or I like to say verbal encouragement for your child, especially when we're talking about behavior and when parents or caregivers are struggling with, quote unquote, air quotes here, negative behavior, right? Where they're struggling with a certain kind of behavior like aggression and they really want to see, quote unquote, better behavior. I am a huge fan of verbally praising our child when they're on the right track, right? So that they know when they're on the right track and they're more likely to do it again because it's specific. Now, there's some caveats to this, and I think this is helpful to kind of talk through as it relates to potty training specifically, but you can just keep this in mind in general parenting, that when we do verbally encourage our child, we always want to be sure that we are very specific, right? That we're not just saying yay or good job, right? That we're being very specific on what we actually liked so that our child knows, right? Our praises should be educational, as I like to say, right? So instead of yay, good job, it's thank you so much for trying to go pee, right? Or thank you so much for helping me clean up the mess. Or I'm so proud of you for all your hard work. Or I love how you went potty all by yourself. Wow, right? I am so impressed. I am so proud of you. You should be proud of yourself too. And there's proponents that say that you're kind of feeding their extrinsic motivation, meaning that they're more likely to seek that outside approval instead of finding that approval within themselves. Yes, and I agree with that to an extent, and I do agree with highlighting and reinforcing, finding their own sense of pride in themselves, right? You should be like saying things like, wow, you must feel so proud of yourself for doing that, right? I think we can accomplish our goals using a balance of both. I don't think, banning verbal praise is what is necessary. I think as long as we're being balanced about it. I will say you want to be careful not to overpraise your child, right? Because then that can lead them to feel pressure, right? Oh my gosh, my mom is so proud of me. My dad is so proud of me. What if I mess up now, right? What if I make a mistake and then they're not proud of me anymore? So you always want to try to balance your praise with also adding in a level of, I'm proud of your effort. I'm proud of your hard work. You're not giving up. It's okay to make mistakes. Thank you for helping me clean up, right? So just making sure it's balanced and making sure you're just mindful of your overall energy, that you're not putting too much pressure on your child to quote unquote perform, right? To do well. And you want to find ways to celebrate their mistakes. And what I like to say is that's how you learn, right? So you know what? I'm proud of you though for trying, right? Just yesterday, it's fresh on my mind. I'm teaching my 5-year-old how to read, and she wanted to go for the gusto. She wanted to go for just reading a book, even though we're doing this reading program, and it goes step by step by things. She's like, I'm ready to read a book. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then she soon found out it was really hard for her, but I praised that she even tried, right? That she was willing to give it her best, and that she was willing to try and make mistakes. And so that is what I highlighted to her throughout. She felt frustrated, and I was like, I totally understand. Okay, I don't want to digress too much, but this is all related because potty training, there's a lot of ups and downs, right? Our learning is never linear, right? We're never going from, all right, it's time to potty train. All right, you're successful, right? It doesn't work like that. And so it's going to take a lot of bumps along the way. It's going to ebb and flow. Their progress is going to ebb and flow. And so just making sure that your form of positive reinforcement goes with their ebbs and flows, and that it's encouraging overall. So I'm a huge fan of using verbal praise throughout the potty training journey. And then, making sure your nonverbals are matching too. So you're actually smiling, right? And you're clapping and you're just genuinely happy, of course, right? We want to make sure that everything is aligned, if you will. But let's talk about the realm of rewards and treats. So I'm thinking M&Ms and toys and stickers. And so here's the thing about rewards and stickers and all of that. I think that it's completely up to you. You might not want to hear that. You might want to be like, but Dr. Jasmine, just tell me, should I do it or not? I think it's completely up to you, your style, right? Because you might hear me talk about rewards and you might cringe a little bit and be like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. Or you might hear it and you're like, I think that'll actually work. And now I'm feeling guilty because somebody else is telling me not to do it. And now I'm conflicted and I don't know. I like to leave it up to the parent. And that's because one, every parent is different, or caregiver, and also every child is different. What motivates a child, one child is going to be completely different than what motivates another. And you'll see these differences between your children as well as you do this whole potty training journey, right? And so I don't think it's detrimental to use treats. I'll speak about treats specifically right now, in terms of helping with the potty training process. Treats can be extremely effective for some kids, okay? Not everybody. So for example, what you might do, and this is what we did, was we used 1 M&M for pee and 2 M&Ms for poop. The thing about treats is you want to make sure that they are super small, okay? We're not giving them a big candy bar after they went pee, because keeping in mind that this needs to be something that is sustainable and that they're going to pee throughout the day, multiple times a day, multiple times in an afternoon. So it needs to be reasonable in size. So 1 M&M is sufficient. Don't feel like you have to give them this big treat. Also keeping them involved, and what do you want? Are you excited? Do you want like M&Ms, and keeping them involved and, picking out the certain treat, of course, making sure that it's nothing that they're going to choke on, and that it is safe for them to eat. And then you want to gradually phase all rewards, even verbal praise, right? In the beginning, we're going to be super excited and yay, great. And then after time, right, it's not going to make sense. It's going to be very misaligned if we're super excited when they're already kind of mastering this, right? So then what you're looking for, and I'll speak to treats specifically right now, you're looking for as they master, let's say, just consistently sitting in the potty or consistently going potty when they sit there, right? As they're mastering that, then you want to make it harder for them to get the treat, right? Because it's not going to aid them in learning more skills if we stay at the same level. So as they're mastering that skill, just keep in mind, okay, what's something that I can kind of raise the bar? But you want to do this gradually and always keep them informed, right? So for example, you could make it that they need to initiate going to the potty in order to get the treat or whatever, right? Or just going a longer amounts of time without having accidents or not having an accident in the whole day, then okay, right? So you just kind of gradually raise the bar, but you want to look for mastery first before you raise the bar. And of course, keeping your child informed every step of the way. And that was loud. What you might need to do is use the reinforcement, whether you're doing just verbal reinforcement or you're actually doing rewards, use it gradually. So if they're really struggling with even just getting to the bathroom or even just sitting down in the bathroom, then that's going to be where you start in terms of rewarding. Yay, you sat on the potty. Here you go, right? And then as they get more uncomfortable, then you want to raise the bar. Okay, so you might have to start and not start right at, okay, you have to pee in the potty for you to get reinforced, if you will. So hopefully that makes sense. The other thing that I want to say before I wrap up this episode is that rewards, well, first of all, let me go back to rewards and talk about stickers and toys, because some families use small toys. They go to the dollar store and then they give their child a small toy, let's say if they poop. Again, I'm not against it, but just keep in mind that especially for pee, it's going to happen throughout the day. So making sure that you can consistently do this is really helpful, right? Because if you're not consistent with positive reinforcement, it really won't work. And so just kind of checking in with yourself, is this something that I can keep up with? Same with stickers, right? Can I keep up with this? Is this really reinforcing to my child? Often you'll find after day 3, day 4, they've lost interest in stickers. I really would start with M&Ms or something small and then kind of see where your child is if you're thinking about going that route. And again, this is very short term. This is the first couple weeks of potty training and you are gradually tapering this off. This is not a long-term strategy. Okay. The other thing that I will say too is that you want to make sure that whatever reinforcement you're doing, it comes directly after the behavior. So it's not going to be effective if you're like, yay, you pooped in the potty, now you get your favorite dessert for dinner, right? That's there's too much time that's gone. It's not going to aid in the learning. So you have to make sure that whatever it is that you've decided you're going to do, that it comes directly after the desired behavior in order for it to be effective. And again, you have to be consistent every time. And the caregivers ideally in the child's life are aware and on board with whatever approach that you're using, so that the child, it feels predictable, it feels consistent across settings. And also just keep in mind that this is just one small piece of the potty training journey. So if you're finding that maybe you try this out and your child is still struggling with potty training, or they are really resistant, or there's a lot of accidents and backsliding, that maybe there's something else that's missing. Be sure to check my video on the developmental signs of readiness, because maybe one hypothesis is that they're not developmentally ready for the whole potty training journey. So be sure you kind of go through that checklist and make sure in fact your child is ready, because that could be one possible reason why you continue to struggle despite trying the positive reinforcement route. And if you are listening around the time that this episode goes live, be sure to join my live potty training class, because I will include plenty of Q&A so that you can get your specific question answered. You can also listen into other parents' questions, because commonly we have a lot of the similar questions and you're like, oh yeah, I was wondering about that too. I'm so glad they asked. So go to the momspsychologist.com/potty bootcamp for all the information on how to sign up for the class. And I hope to see you there. All right, that is it for this episode. Let me know down in the comments if you are watching on YouTube if you have any other questions. Also, for my podcast family, huge shout out to y'all. Thank you so much for everybody who's left a rating and a review for my podcast. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are so sweet and I love you so much. And that is it for this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.